So I have this Roadtrek 190 Versatile that I just bought, and it had a problem when I bought it, and I knew it had a problem, but I went ahead and got it anyway. So the issue is that the black water was completely clogged, and so it's got like a 15-gallon tank of black water, and it was probably about 12 gallons just absolutely packed full of you know what. And so you open the valve on the bottom here to drain it, and nothing happened. And I tried to put a snake down it, that didn't work. So I'm going to show you how I fixed the black water tank. So here are the old parts that I took out. And this is the old black water here. And I tried, coming from the top and fixing it, but couldn't. And also water was just pouring out of the grate because this was broken. So basically, I couldn't drain it, I couldn't get the clog out, and so what I had to do was replace these two valves and all of the plumbing, but I couldn't do that effectively until I actually drained the black water tanks. So the first step was to drain the black water tank, and that was a nasty job. And so I'm going to show you how I fixed it, and some parts of this are not pleasant. Alright, the first thing I had to do is I drove this up on a block to get a little bit higher, and then I crawled underneath and I started unbolting everything all the way to the gray water valve and the black water valve. And so that entire assembly that you saw there on the ground, I had to take that off. And what I was trying to do is, if I could, if possible, is to keep the black water valve attached. And as it turned out, one of the bolts broke off and it stuck in there, and that allowed it to stay attached. And I'll show you why that was handy here a little bit later. So anyway, the first step is to do all this, and that took a little bit, so I'll speed this up. This was actually quite difficult. There's very little room to maneuver. I don't have like a pit that a regular shop would have where I could just walk underneath it. And so I had raw sewage dripping on me. And so I wore a mask to protect myself best I could. And then I finally made my way to the black water valve. Okay. This is a fucking mess. So I finally got this off. And the valve actually is opening, and that was broken, so I have to cut that off anyway, but I have to take the whole assembly off in order to fix the 1.5. Now if you open this valve, boy, it's tight, you can see it does open, and it's full of crap on the bottom. So what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to put some water in and see if I can flush this out and then rebuild this assembly. And it's a 3-inch 90 and a 1.5 by 3-inch straight, and that won't take too long. And then when that valve comes, I'll have to cut this off on the other side of that 1.5. So I went ahead in the toilet and I added another maybe 3 or 4 gallons of water, and that put it really, really close to the top. Opened the valve and absolutely nothing came out, and so I had to go to plan B. Okay, so I've got this attached to one of these cleanouts, and then I'm going to put the flange on right at the black water tank. I'm going to see if that will work. So I went down to Camping World and I got this flange, and so as I mentioned before, that black water valve is actually stuck because it has a broken bolt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 bolts in there and then temporarily bolt this flange on, and then that'll allow me to attach the cleanout directly to the black water tank, and with any luck at all, spray that into that clogged toilet from the bottom with water, and then see if I can clear the clog. So the angle wasn't quite right, but fortunately I can actually change the angle on this adapter. And so I was able to get it in place, and there's just not a lot of room to put that in there, but I finally got that on. And then the next thing was to put the discharge hose on, and then I set the camera up and I stood back. So as you can see, initially I got a really good flow of debris, and it was draining and draining and draining and draining and draining. And then I moved the camera, and all of a sudden it went whoosh, and everything came out all at once. I don't have a video of it, but it was epic. And so that finally drained it. Finally got it once and for all. Okay, since I bought it, I've never gonna get a drop out of the black water tank. So I'm gonna take this 5 gallons of water, shut the valve, and then come around here and see if it'll actually drain. Okay, this is the moment of truth. Let's see if it'll drain. Oh yeah. A winner. Alright, now what I have to do is I have to go in there with a hacksaw and cut off the O valve, and then I'm going to dry fit these parts. I got the old valve off, and then I'm going to replace it with a new one, and this one comes with this fitting right here, which I don't need. The first step is I need to bolt this on, and it's at a bit of an angle, and so it has to be precisely aligned because this handle goes over the gray water, so it's tilted up a little bit. So I'm going to bolt this on, and then when I'm done I'll glue it right onto that flange. Alright, now that the brand new black water valve is bolted on, it's time to dry fit 290s and then cut them to length and make sure everything fits correctly, because I'm going to start directly from the black water and the gray water and then work my way out. Here I'm going to install the gray water valve and dry fit it, and then I have some blue tape because I need to create marks that I can see so that I can put it together correctly when it's time to glue it up. Alright, now with everything dry fit correctly, it's time to crawl under there and glue it in place and make it permanent. Alright, so the way this works, put this pipe, it's going to go in here. Now there's a heat shield on this, and there's a piece of metal in there. And that's going to dissipate the heat. So this just is a collar, because this is a 4-inch. So we're just going to slip the 3-inch inside. And glue that in place. It's like I can glue it first. And then we'll have a connection out here. So I'll go ahead and glue that pipe in. And then what you do is as long as I can spin this around, it bolts to the ceiling. 2 bolts up there, right there. So that should be good. Just want to make sure I can do it. So I'll just stop and come back when I'm done. Alright, just one more step. I'll show you what I've done. So from there, on the left, there's a new black water valve. And on the right, there's a new gray water valve. And then it comes here past the muffler. So you've got this heat shield. And I just need to put those 2 bolts in up there. And then I have to get the extensions for the handles. Because they were all rusted off, so I have to actually rebuild those, and I can't do it today, I'll do it later. And then the last thing is that this needs to weld that fitting, and it's said to arrive today. And so then you can have the 4 prongs on there and then just have your quick connect. So it is now fixed, at least that until I can, just got a couple things to do and it's ready to go. I am finally finished, and you can just lift this panel up right here, and there is that 4-prong adapter that I was telling you about, and that's all now ready to go. I am going to order a cap to close it when I'm not in use, but we can just at this point put on your angle connector and you can pull the handles, and I put one of the knobs on, the other one is still stuck and I need to attach them, but now I can reach the black and the gray from the outside, and everything is sealed and brand new and ready to go. So that was quite a job, and if you're thinking about doing it yourself, you can, but you have to be prepared for kind of a nasty, disgusting job that is not easy to get up there. But anyway, I hope you found that helpful, and see you next time.